Hello everyone and welcome back to our channel Biodiversity and Conservation. I am Subbalakshmi Raut from Ambika Prasad Research Foundation, India, and we are continuing our series on UGC NET examination for environmental science subject, and this is 13th part of Unit 3 Environmental Biology. Today we are going to discuss about population growth rate, and that's actually the rate of increase in the growth. So since a population is a changing entity that doesn't have a definite number, and there is always either increase or decrease in the population. So always an ecologist tries to know about this change. What are the factors that compel the change in the growth of population? So there are a number of different population characteristics that are related to this population growth rates, and like natality, mortality, dispersion, migration, and all that. And when we say population growth rate, what we mean by that? There are three different definitions. So first one is the population growth rate is defined as the birth rate minus death rate divided by the initial population size, that is R equal to B minus D by N0, that is N naught. And another method that is used for calculating the population growth rate is by subtracting the initial population size from final population size and dividing it with the initial population size. So this is one way for class calculation. And next one is through division of the change of population within a period of time, is called population growth rate, where we calculate by dn by dt, where dn is the change in number of organisms and dn by dt gives us the average change in the number of organisms per unit time. So this gives us the growth rate. And if we want to find specific growth rate, then we will just divide dn by dt with n, capital N, that is the number of final number of organisms. And when we want to get a percent growth rate, then we will get it through the formula dn by dt by n dt into 100. Now, according to the population growth, there are two curves or two forms, that is exponential growth form and logistic growth form. So first one is exponential growth form. Here actually, when we say population growth form, we actually define the characteristic pattern of increase that a population takes. So in the exponential growth form, there is continuous population growth in an unlimited environment, like there is availability of all the resources for the growth. And this is also known as the Malthusian growth pattern, um, because Thomas R. Malthus was the one who described this model and also wrote an essay on that. And we will see that here there is absence of any constraints or any hurdles for growth. And from the equation dn by dt is equal to rn, uh, we can plot the graph using this equation, where dn is change in the number of individuals dt is change in time, and r is the rate of growth. Here, if r is positive, then the population is increasing. If r is negative, then population is decreasing. And if r is 0, then there is no change in the population. So dn by dt is equal to 0. And n, capital N, is the number of individuals in the population. Uh, we can In this graph, as you can see that due to continuous supply of resources to the population, there is a constant increase of the population in the area with accordance to time, and we get a J-shaped curve in this manner. And if in this J-shaped growth form, the population density increases rapidly in the exponential fashion and then stops abruptly as environmental resistance or any other factors become effective. So, um, this type of population growth is termed as density independent, as the regulation of growth rate is not dependent on the population density until the final um, stop, or where the growth rate immediately stops. So, next one is logistic growth form. Um, in the real world, actually, exponential growth is not possible because we will not get infinite amount of resources always, and there will be either limited space or limited resources which will support a population. So the species growth in this condition gives us the logistic growth form. And here um, we will get a sigmoid growth curve where the exponential growth of population is limited by a density dependent factor, like may it be the species interaction, like interspecific and intraspecific interaction, where there is causes of predation, competition, like that, negative or positive influences on each other, which will determine the population size. And when the size of a population is increasing in a logistic manner, the curve or the graph that we get is a S-shaped curve, and the equation, logistic equation, that is dn by dt is equal to rn whole bracket 1 minus n by k, gives us the values, or due to this equation we get the curve, that is the S-shaped curve. um, and here actually dn by dt is the change in numbers over time, and r is the exponential growth rate, and n is the population size, and k is the carrying capacity. In this graph, you can see that there is increase of population slowly at first, that is slow growth, which is also known as positive acceleration phase, then increases rapidly approaching a logarithmic phase, but soon decreases and slows down gradually as environmental resistance increases, and this is called negative acceleration phase or slow growth. And until there are more or less equilibrium is reached. So this type of population growth is termed as density dependent, since the growth rate depends upon the numbers present in the population. And the point of stabilization or zero growth rate is termed as saturation value or the carrying capacity of the environment for that organism. So K represents the point at which the upward curve begins to level, that is, begins to form a straight line, and this is produced when changing population numbers are plotted over time. And this logistic equation that we were earlier discussing about, that is dn by dt is equal to rn whole bracket 1 minus n by k, was proposed by P.F. Verhulst and was extensively used by Lotka. And um, there are different forms of that equation used during calculation, but the equation simply says that the rate of population increase equals to the maximum possible rate of increase times degree of relaxation of maximum rate or minus the unrealized increase. So if we want to calculate the rate of increase per generation, that is capital R, then the equation of time lag, that is reaction time lag, will be dn um, t into t by dt is equal to rn whole bracket 1 minus n t minus t2 by k. These are actually equations that you will get from internet, but from whole topic you can simply understand that if exponential growth form is the condition where there is growth with unlimited resources, and in case of logistic or logical growth, may I say, there is the calculation of population growth under normal conditions with environmental resistance and all that. And these um, all relationships gives us two types of main curves, that is J-shaped or sigmoid curve, where J-shaped is the exponential shows exponential growth, and S-shaped sigmoid curve shows the logistic growth. This is all from me today. Thank you.